morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tudo Hoyani. This case will never cease to amaze me. On Friday, when the court adjourned, the prosecution was supposed to go and collect all the information regarding the AVL records of all the cars that had been involved in the investigation of this matter. That is how it all ended on Friday. There was no hint at all that on Monday these particular proceedings would not take place. But for some strange reason, Advocate Baloyi had a witness ready for the court. Let me just get you the name of this man again. The name of this man is Kulani Stanley Sambo. That is the man from the Legal Practice Council who, out of nowhere, became readily available to Baloyi. So Baloyi knew all along, from Friday, that he will not be able to proceed with this evidence relating to AVL. That is why immediately when this AVL business cannot be, dealt with, he just has a witness up his sleeve and produces him right on the spot. Trial by ambush, I've always said. You see, this Sambo character from the LPC was not part of the initial list of witnesses that Baloyi had intended to call. And it would appear that as the trial proceeds, Baloyi is embellishing his evidence by coming up with surprises like the Sambo surprise. Because as it proceeds towards the end, he probably realizes that, Ntanzi has denied that Mjiyako ever represented him as his lawyer. So, to fill that gap, he is now coming up with evidence from Sambo, from the Legal Practice Council, to sort of legitimize Mjiyako, at least as an attorney. Sambo is actually testifying to the effect that Mjiyako is an attorney duly registered with the Legal Practice Council. That is what Sambo is there for. Because Baloyi is realizing that, in the light of the fact that Ntanzi has denied ever knowing Mjiyako, and the fact that there were also doubts about whether Mjiyako was actually an attorney, Baloyi is now rushing in to fill this gap with this Sambo witness who comes as a total surprise to everybody, including the defense counsels. You see, Sambo is supposed to legitimize Mjiyako, that, Mjiyako is in fact an attorney. But I've always said the issue is not whether Mjiyako is an attorney or not. The issue is whether Ntanzi ever hired him to represent him in this matter. And Ntanzi has denied ever, engaging Mjiyako along the lines of Mjiyako representing him as his lawyer, especially at that crucial time when he's supposed to have made the confessions before a magistrate that he strongly denies he ever made. So this is another surprising turn about the case. So there's this Sambo now, but the most crucial thing that, Baloyi must do is to call Mjiyako here and call him as a witness. so that the defense can cross-examine Mjiyako and put it to Mjiyako that Mjiyako, Ntanzi says he never represented you. You never represented him, rather. You never represented him. Show us proof, any proof, that you ever acted on behalf of Ntanzi. Have you ever met Ntanzi? Have you ever met any of the relatives of Ntanzi? Those kinds of questions. It is not enough for Baloyi to bring along Sambo who says, well, he was an attorney. He may well have been an attorney. That one is not in dispute. But what is in dispute is, was he Ntanzi's lawyer? But significantly, like I said in my opener, this case is one of a kind, with twists and turns. Right? Here's a new witness that's been literally thrown at the defense. And I think the defense must object to this kind of conduct. Because you see, as the trial progresses, it will appear that Baloyi, is embellishing his defense along the way. You see, he's realizing that gaps are emerging, in his evidence. And he's trying to fill up those gaps as they go along. And that is totally unacceptable. And the defense must put a stop to this. Now, that is the issue about Mjiyako. The second issue that I want to bring to attention is Baloyi is taking a gamble here. He says, with regard to the AVL evidence, we will wait for that evidence and see what it looks like. But at the present moment, we are opposing that. To be on the safe side, he says, we are opposing that application that the defense intends to make. But we still have to see that AVL evidence, and then we'll make up our mind whether we'll oppose the application or not. But it is clear he's taking a gamble on the fact that, that AVL evidence might be favorable, to his case. And if it is not, he's going to oppose it, And it becomes very interesting how he's going to oppose it. Let us say he opposes it. How does he oppose AVL evidence? AVL evidence is scientific evidence. If AVL evidence says a car was in Boxburg, how do you oppose that? Are you going to say that AVL is lying? But well, he's playing his cards close to his chest. But he's throwing a lot into the MEYIWA trial, which sometimes leaves me, wondering whether we are dealing with a fair trial here. But let us see how it goes this morning. But like I'm saying, too many things are worrying this trial. Let us see how it goes this morning. And in a later edition of the Daily Fix, I'll give you an update. That will be around 2 p.m., 3 p.m., somewhere there. And see perhaps how Baloyi rounds up his evidence in chief of Sambo and how the cross-examination of Sambo then unfolds. Thank you very much for watching this video and all the other videos that you've watched in the past. Please kindly subscribe and like these videos and have a wonderful, wonderful